like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave me a comment. Without further ado,
hey kids, it's Hyperdellic, and it's another show and tell with Hyperdellic. And today, it's show and tell with Hyperdellic with a skate or a punk with toys. So many widths. What's going on, man?
Good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. So, the point of this show is to kind of get introduced to some of the people in the community. At some point, we're probably going to have even some folks that don't even YouTube, that just hang out in the chat rooms. If you know Nolan, he's agreed to come on, so that'll be great. But basically, I just want to know about like your experience with toys, and I know I've heard some of your history with GI Joe and stuff like that. What was your favorite toy? Like, what is it? What made you passionate with what you're doing today? Like, what is that?
Are you saying what makes me passionate about today, or
what
was my favorite toy as a child?
What was your favorite toy? Like that kind of that does it for you, that keeps you into it. I mean, I'm assuming it's the USS Flagg, because we've all heard how fond you are of it. And don't apologize, because that's awesome. That's what this is all about. But it might not be, and if it is, I'm down with that too, because I got photos of myself with my own flag.
I wouldn't say the Flagg is what keeps me going today. It's GI Joe in general. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is my mom passed away when I was 13. Okay. So you might imagine, like, as a 13-year-old kid, your life is completely turned upside down. By that time, I was into skateboarding, and I really had just become, everything went skateboarding. That's all I cared about after that, probably till 22, 23, to be honest. But when it comes to toys, and when I started trying to pick up the GI Joe figures, the O-ring figures, it takes me back to that time when she was around, getting toys. Now, you guys have all heard the Flagg story and the 8 shipwrecks for Christmas. I mean, I have many stories.
A lot of seamen.
Yeah, a lot of seamen. I mean, I got a lot of stories that I remember her coming home with GI Joe figures, but it would take me back to that point. But in general, I'm a collector. After toys, I remember I would keep everyone's skateboards and I would hang them all on my walls. There's probably a point that I had 50 to 100 boards on my wall, because I was in the basement of my dad's and it wasn't done. So there was just the boards that you're supposed to put the paneling
right
on.
Unfinished wall.
Yes, it fit the boards perfect where the truck bolts were. So I just would hang everyone's board up, or just a board, And I never really looked at that I was a collector at the time. But, as you got older, I kind of went into comic books, and I would collect comics probably through, I don't know, probably till 95, 96, I was big into it, and then I kind of had to get away from it. And I look at a lot of what I do, and I'm like, oh, I just really got into collecting. But then I started looking back to, the power of the Force. Oh, I was collecting all that stuff.
I think we all did.
The Spawn stuff. So I look back and I was like, I was collecting, and I didn't even realize how much stuff I actually collected at the time, because I don't have any of it anymore. Because that stuff,
right?
You go through adult things that need to be taken care of, and you have to sell off your toys.
Yeah.
And it was a time before eBay, or maybe right when eBay was first starting. So, but I wouldn't say. I mean, the USS Flagg is the most famous of my toys. I was the kid that actually had it.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes down to it, man, I don't even know if I have a favorite toy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. The Flagg wasn't something you could take somewhere. The Sky Striker
Right.
you could, the Rattler, but the Flagg was stationed at your house. It wasn't going anywhere.
Thing had to have its own room. I mean, it took up
Yeah,
most of my bedroom. It was crazy. I remember that thing
and
being.
I often say to people that say that they want it in a 6-inch scale or they want another HasLab version of it, I'm like, have you ever seen it in real life?
My house isn't
Never.
even big enough for that.
Yeah, I've heard like people just like kind of snapped at me. I'm like, I don't think you really realize it's 7.5 feet long, but it's not just 7.5 feet long. It's 3 feet wide and about 3 feet tall, I
And
believe.
tall. Yeah.
It's
There's
big. It's
that's
it's it's not just long. It's very
and
large and
and
wide.
that would be hugely expensive. I mean, like,
Yes.
I think we're talking like at least $2,000, maybe even more.
For a 6-inch scale, yes. But the one thing, even to do another 1/18 scale, the one thing that I remember Patrick from the Full Force saying is he said, if you did one even in 1/18 scale, it has to be at least 8 feet long. You could not make it smaller than the old one.
No.
Which again, if you have one in a room in the basement, it's all GI Joe. Not saying I do, but I might. Um, you realize it sits in the middle, and I have to walk around it because it's not a
Yeah.
giant room.
Yeah. You're not just giving it room for where it is. Like, you have to get around the thing too. So you got to have at least a foot of clearance on each
Yeah,
side.
but
I feel like possibly if we do finally get those O-ring figures from Super 7, there's something inside of me that says that Brian from Super 7 is going to try to do a Flagg or something close to
no,
it. Like, cuz that the mothership thing, it just seemed so unrealistic. It was like,
yeah.
oh, it doesn't really do nothing.
So
But he still
the one
tried.
thing I'm not a big Brian Flynn fan. I'm not a big Super 7 fan. Okay. I'm not going to put my personal stuff out there, my personal feelings on your show. You
No,
can
no,
tune
you're
into
okay. Yeah.
you can tune into mine if one day you want to find out what I think about Brian Flynn. But the one thing that he did say on the Full Force is he's not going to do figures or stuff that's already been done. He wants to delve into things that have never been done, which I'm
Right.
hoping for because that's what I want. I don't need another Snake Eyes. I have Snake Eyes. I don't need another Storm Shadow that's just like that Storm Shadow. Give us these figures that Hasbro never gave us.
Right?
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Like that Skeletron stuff. Like, these are so neat. Like, I wish they would I wish they would do more of these. Like the O-ring ones, cuz they're cool.
I'm not
They're
sure.
really cool.
I'm not sure how many of the O-rings are doing. They got
The
to be
only
doing.
one that I saw that they were selling on the site was the one
Was that
that you
one?
turn into Skeletron.
Yeah.
Um, but that's cool.
Oh no, I love that figure. That figure.
Yeah.
Man, I talked about it just recently. Where, I mean, I have some of the Delta 17 figures, and they're really nice figures. But getting that figure that you have right there, I have them back there. Getting
Yeah, I
that
was really
figure,
happy I could.
yeah. When I looked at it, the way that it was packaged, the way the artwork looked,
Yeah.
that is the first time and the longest time that I was instantly drawn back to 83, 84, 85. Like I
Yeah.
just felt like a kid because I was looking at the border, the explosion, the
Yeah.
way it was packaged.
Oh no,
That
I
I was just
agree.
like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. This is the feels that you're supposed to get because you're looking at the scale. I absolutely love that figure, and it feels good. Like it.
Oh, that website dragged me back to it a couple of times because the logical side of me was like, no, 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 you don't. This is just another line. You don't need another line. And then, but every time, and then I think I even saw him on your streams a couple of times, and I was just like, man, those are really freaking cool. Yeah,
Did you
see,
get
I haven't
these?
gotten that. Those are
I
pretty
broke down
neat.
when I ordered all this.
I do have I've got the Gray Wolf, but I haven't taken him out of the package. I'm leaving. I think I'm going to leave him on card. But I've got the Red Wolf one, And I mean, they're really cool. These are so well done. Like like you said, like it was making me feel
Yeah,
like this was
those
something I could
figures
have
are
gotten when
made.
I was a kid.
Those figures are made so good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
they
have a
are.
few issues with the accessories, like the backpack, the claw. Like one of mine kind of broke. It can still work, but the
Yeah,
figures themselves are just wow. I can't
yeah,
wait to see the 6-inch figures
yeah.
in the whole Robo Skull that I have on order. I don't know where I'm gonna put.
So we know that Lawrence loves GI Joe, but were there other toy lines that you grew up with that you were big on? I know that sometimes you discuss Motu every now and again, but it's almost like it's your guilty pleasure.
No, no, not at all. It's not.
No.
I reviewed and I talked about Motu, and it never got traction. It was like I
Yeah.
would literally watch the numbers when I would talk Motu. I would watch like 10 people drop off the stream. And this is when I was getting like maybe 30, 40 on a good stream. Now
Yeah.
it's not like that. But even when I would do the reviews, again, when I say I might get 200 views, some people think that's great. Again, for a channel where I've come 200 is not very good. And again, it's nothing against people that are only getting 200. We all started somewhere. Because you can watch some of those old G.I. Joe videos when I first started, and I might have 90 views. But I'm
Oh,
getting like
I got like
what?
291 or 292 subs right now. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
you know,
But I'm getting
I'm
like
having fun.
2,000, 3,000 views on a G.I. Joe video.
Yeah.
And then I do a Motu video, and I'm getting 156. And
Right.
and it's not like I just threw in a Motu. I'm looking at it like I've reviewed 20 different figures and vehicles. It's not like I'm just throwing my name in the hat here, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
it's just kind of
that's why I review the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. I didn't want to collect it. I always liked Ninja Turtles. I mean, it was never like a I don't like the Ninja Turtles, but it was like I just don't need another line, man. It's like I got enough stuff. And the community kind of dragged me into it because I did a couple of like the Mutant Mayhem ones out of curiosity. And it's so funny how that happens because the community is going to tell you what they like. And hey, either you listen or you don't.
and listen, I truly do believe you do what you enjoy. I still
Yeah,
talk Motu. I just and I've gotten out of it just because with the origin stuff, I've kind of come to the point where there's not as many things as that I want because I like the stuff from before and I like from when we were kids,
sure.
and I liked some of the newer things they were doing, stuff that we never got.
Yeah,
So as a kid, I didn't. I had Motu stuff. I didn't have a lot. I didn't have a lot of vehicles. Everything was GI Joe. But it went from Star Wars, and again, I can remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when I saw that first GI Joe commercial. And it is safe to say that when I saw that, that was it. Like I was sitting there playing with Tonto and the Lone Ranger. If you remember those figures on their horses, I had the Snow Speeder. It was one of the very few Star Wars vehicles I had. I see this GI Joe commercial. I turned around, looked at my dad, and said, "Can I get one of those figures?" And he said, "Well, we'll see." Like that was it. And then I remember getting the first figures.
yeah,
But I mean, I had He-Man stuff, but I didn't have a lot of He-Man. I had the basic figures, but a friend of mine, he was really into He-Man. So we would go over there and he had them all. So when we were over his house, that's what we were doing. We were playing He-Man. So I
yeah,
played a lot of He-Man, and I enjoyed it. Again, I look back at He-Man probably a little bit more fondly than what I realized back then,
yeah. Well,
because
maybe because you were with friends.
yeah. Um, I mean, I had Transformers. I didn't. I mean, I had a few Transformers and the GoBots. I liked the GoBots. I know they were fun and small. Uh, trying to think. I mean, I had some Thundercats, but nothing like G.I. Joe.
Nothing that hit
Uh,
like GI. Yeah, I had a good GI Joe collection too. Like when I was a kid. Like I mean I still have a few like bangers that I like. I've got this guy, one of the
I
Steel
don't even have
Brigade.
one of those.
Yeah, my a buddy of mine. We were kids. Our parents arranged it to where we made each other's file cards, and
That's
I had
awesome.
no clue. I was such a fool. But yeah, I still have this and the patch that it came with, and yeah, my it's a funny story. My mom and my dad, they were going through all of our old stuff and they found a bunch of this stuff. And my dad was talking about it and he was like, "Yeah, we're probably just gonna sell it on eBay." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, whoa. And my mom was cracking up and she's like, "Why? Why can't he sell any of that?" I was like, You mean that Steel Brigade figure that my mom lovingly arranged to make sure that I got and that I had no clue about, and that it was an awesome surprise and one of the coolest ones that I ever got. I
See,
laid it out thick.
like it's like stories like that is what I think keep us doing this type of stuff.
Yeah.
The Steel Brigade, I remember the Steel Brigade coming out. I remember not wanting it. I didn't
Yeah.
like the way it looked. I didn't think that it was cool. I thought it was stupid making myself a character. So I never even ordered one.
Oh, mine was cheesy as hell too. It was terrible.
But the thing,
It was so bad.
the amount of flag points that I had, which I no longer have, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember that
And I
too.
often wonder
Oh
where
wow.
some of my stuff went, because the GI Joe stuff is the only stuff that I've kept throughout my
Yeah.
childhood. I don't know what happened to all my Motu stuff, my Transformers. Um, I never did Turtles. I was out of toys by the time Turtles came around.
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad.
was it was almost in college, I think, at the time. I had a couple of Ninja Turtles that would like sit on a shelf somewhere and collect dust. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a kid in middle school having. I remember the Turtles had come out, the cartoon,
Yeah.
and he had the comic book. It was the black and white comic. And I'm like, this is not what the Turtles look like. And he's like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Because they all had the exact same bandana, even though you didn't know what color it was because it's black and white. It was very violent
Yeah.
and very adult looking. Like they didn't look
Yeah, it
like
was like, ooh,
Turtles.
wow. This
And
is
I remember
cool.
thinking, like, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
But God, it's so funny, when you ask like what other toys that I have, it's like I'm thinking back. I mean, I had Transformers, but not a lot. I mean, I had Megatron, Prime,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
but
yeah. I didn't realize back then just how lucky some of us like we really were. Like to have like Megatron and Optimus Prime, like not every kid had that. I had Beastman and I thought nothing of it. And my cousin was like, "Dude, you got Beastman?" I'm like, "Yeah, so." It's like nobody's got Beastman.
it's so funny because now I'm trying to think like, did I even? I don't even know if I had He-Man figures. Like
No.
I'm like now that you ask me, I remember his name was Kenny. Being over his house, he had them all. And I'm trying to think, like, I know I didn't have Beast. I know I must have had He-Man and Skeletor, but I didn't have Grayskull. I didn't have any of the vehicles. There were so many people that had He-Man that you would play with. And now
Yeah.
I'm starting to think back, like, I didn't have a lot of Transformers, but I had, a few. But you had the friend that would always that collected them, that he had them, so you'd go over there and play with them. But
Right.
damn, now this is the first time I'm actually thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I didn't really have that many He-Man figures.
Oh, it's funny because I have fond memories of friends of mine's toys too. Like I do. Like my one buddy had like the Terror Drome,
I have
and
that.
hanging, messing around with that thing was so fun. I didn't have that one. Or he got what was the spaceships, the space
The
station one?
Defiant.
Yeah, he
That
had
was
that
after.
thing.
That was after my time. That is my
That
holy
thing was
grail.
that thing was impossible to keep together. And I remember.
That is what I hear.
But yeah, like and that was the funniest thing. Like I had a friend, my cousins, they had Dungeons and Dragons toys. They were literally the only people that I knew that had Dungeons and Dragons, like the old LJN
Yeah.
figures. and like that was I was like I knew of them because of them, or like Remco's Skullman, like the weird white and red skull, old school.
I know what
It
you're
was a
talking about,
knockoff
but yeah.
He-Man basically, but yeah, like stuff like that.
See,
So okay, so we know what how much you like GI Joe, but there's other lines that I know you collect nowadays too, right?
nowadays.
So what is it that you get into these days? Like what's your newest favorite? Like
Well, we all know Classified. I mean, I absolutely love them.
yeah, they're great.
I think. I'm sorry, I gotta look around. God. So, am I all in on anything? Is what I'm trying to think first. So I did just pick up. I decided to go all in on these. The Street Fighter.
Ooh, the Street Fighter ones.
So,
Yeah.
And I will be reviewing this and Ken. I did I did Chun-Li and Ryu. I don't think people realize how amazing of a figure they are. They are so good. Like they are better
good.
than
They do.
And
I've got M. Bison on pre-order. I've got him and Dalcima on pre-order. Like,
and I'll be looking for those. I didn't stop today because I'm like, I don't need to buy more if I find it, because they are at Target.
right.
I really like the AWOC figures. Now I don't have a lot, but I have a few. If you don't have the AWOC, and I'm actually going to be having them on next Thursday, so the Thursday after you, I'm going to be having them on for their Kickstarter. Those figures I had heard so many good things about, and I really didn't hear any bad things about them. There were lines that, when I first got into Valaverse, I'm not really going to go into that one. When I first started doing the reviews, a friend of mine said, I have the figures. I'll let you borrow them if you want to review them. I had heard either they were the greatest figures ever or they were the worst pieces of crap ever. Well, you can't be one or the other, right? Like there has to be somewhere in the middle. And they were good enough for me to continue to support the line. Were they perfect? No. Were they good? Yeah, I think they were actually pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. They look really good. I mean,
a lot of it has to do with a lot of the issues have to do with the owner and what people feel of the owner. You got to take yourself away from that and ask yourself, how are the actual figures? That's what I'm reviewing. I'm not reviewing what I think of the owner. I'm reviewing the actual figures.
Right.
So I thought those were really good. But with the AWOC, no one said anything bad about it. So I ordered one. I ordered one or two, I forget. Actually, I ordered three. I ordered three. I ordered.
Looks cool.
Yeah, I ordered three when Sparrow Toys first got them. That's the maker of them, and I have to say, other than the weapons, there's nothing wrong with the weapons other than they are pointy. You can't give them to kids. You give these toys to kids.
I've heard.
I have said if you gave an AWOC to a kid, he's not coming back in 5 minutes with it broken. It is such a solid figure.
Yeah.
I cannot be all in on them because it's not, financially it doesn't make sense, but I'm also not into that. But they can fit with so many things. Like if you love that type of creature, like those creatures, it's awesome. But let's say you just want to do like pictures with your classified figures or your Valaverse figures or whatever, they fit because they're larger than them, which is fine. But that creatures. Yeah, those figures are awesome. I love the Plunderlings. I don't know if you have any Plunderlings.
I don't, but I have looked at them a few times and like I haven't been able to pull the trigger on them.
They're so much fun.
They're adorable.
They're so much fun. And I was super excited for the Plunder Strong and the Plunder Longs. Yeah. And I got a Plunder Strong and I was so disappointed in it.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying something about that on the Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't stand very well. He's very weak jointed because he's so top heavy.
Which one did you get?
The Captain. If I grab him, everything will fall
Is
down.
he's the big purple one or the?
Yeah, they're all the exact same buck. So he's like a dark purple, yeah, with the captain's hat. He looks awesome. So I love that. I think Mythic Legions Mythic Legions make some of the best figures. I say anytime I do a review or I talk about them, people complain about the articulation. I go, I understand.
I've got a couple, like literally 2 Cosmic Legions now, and I mean the one that I have, it's probably one of my new favorite action figures. It's Thygar or Oleg Thygar. He's like the blue looking alien guy. But so AWOC compared to, and I mean Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions, it's pretty much the same quality. Compared to that, how do you feel like AWOC stacks up to that?
Okay, so AWOC articulation wise and playable wise, way better. It is. I mean, I don't even think it's comparable. Like I said, I'm not giving a Mythic Legions to a 4-year-old to play with.
Yeah.
The AWOC, here you go. And the kid's not coming back with the head missing, a hand missing, something broken on it. That is how sturdy of a figure that it is. I could not have been more impressed with that wave of figures, and I hope that for the Kickstarter, I would assume that it's going to be the exact same. Now they're going to pinless joints, so that doesn't mean they've changed a lot. But I would assume it's the same. And why are their figures so amazingly solid? But I don't feel like if I gave a classified to a 5-year-old that it might come back in one piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, considering especially it is what I love. Yeah. The weapons, again, like a NECA weapon. I love the gargoyles. That was, I don't have any. Actually, I do have one back there. I have all the gargoyles.
Yeah. I never got into the show. I loved the fact that it was all the next generation voice cast, or like the voice cast. Like Star Trek Next Generation. Like, it's so cool. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But I anytime I'd watch it, I liked it. But I was also in that, like, I was in my college years, and so it's like if I did, it was like I caught a little bit. I've seen those figures, and there's been a few times where I was like, wow, I'm gonna buy that. No, I don't need this. It's like, so I talked myself out of it.
That's another line that I'm full into. They're actually all downstairs, but one of them. The fact that they haven't released anything in a while, they're kind of on the back burner of my mind.
Yeah.
Which I kind of hate, but at the same time, that's fine. I don't need to spend $40 on certain figures right now.
Joe season right now, anyway.
Yes, it's that GI Joe season. That's exactly it. Those figures are amazing. There's a lot of.
I just got the alert that I'm getting Big Boa, and I'm so excited for that. Nice. There you go.
So because you're here, I just dropped the review at 6:00 today.
Yeah.
So you probably haven't even watched it.
Yeah, I gotta stop buying them from Big Bad Toy Store, because when I get them from Hasbro, I get them right away. I buy them from Big Bad Toy Store. It takes like 2-3 weeks.
Well, what's funny is that him and Quick Kick came from Pulse, and normally they've been shipping things right away.
Yeah.
And I just sat around and waited for a week. And then I called them about it, and I was like, hey, is there something going on? And they're like, no, it's in processing. Why? I'm like, well, normally when you charge me, it goes out within the next couple of days. I haven't seen anything. And then my app for FedEx shows up that there's something from Pulse coming, and it was before they had even told me that they left the building. But BBTS stuff came really quick.
Yeah, that one happened to me on my my X-Men 97 figures. They told me it's, it posts everything, and then all of a sudden it's like it's not shipping. It's like, what are you guys doing? I need these. So
again, I think for something like that, I know people hate the Hasbro Pulse premium membership for $50, but I'm like, listen,
I don't mind it.
Yeah, you get free shipping. Like if you look at all the stuff you buy, I only buy GI Joe stuff mostly from them.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's like just the amount of exclusives, including the HasLabs, I've saved more than $50 easily on shipping and handling. And if you're not doing reviews and you don't need to have them right away, that is the reason why I will sometimes overspend a little bit.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
You just up the shipping. Yeah. I use it. I send gifts to kids in my family,
That's
and
awesome.
send a free gift. I mean, I sent that Gigantosaurus thing, the Jurassic Park thing to my how old is he? He's probably about 7 or 8 right now. My brother tells me, he goes, that thing was almost bigger than him. I was like, yes. Yes. I was like, awesome.
But
so,
yeah, as you asked about the lines, I'm just like looking around. Like I said, I love the Jada Toy Street Fighters. Mezco, I'm doing the Mezco G.I. Joes. Again, when you have a Mezco figure, you realize exactly how amazing it is.
Yeah, those look incredible. Now, do they feel like a doll, or do they feel like a solid figure?
Oh, the joints are smooth as you can imagine.
Yeah.
The scary part is because of soft goods, you can't see if there's stress marks. But my roadblock, the Snake Eyes, which I'm not a big fan of the Snake Eyes, I'll be 100% honest. But the roadblock and the Destro, which I play around with all the time, everything is a super smooth joint. Like you can feel the difference between that $100 and the $25 figures, which is good because I think you should be able to. But I do like some of the NECA stuff. I love that Elf. I think the Elf is one of the sleeper hits of the year. It's just such a good figure.
From Naughty and Nice, or
no, the NECA Elf.
Not
Elf. Elf.
You mean
alien life form?
Will Ferrell like Elf?
No, Elf. Alien life form.
Oh, Elf. I thought you said Elf. Yeah, I got him too.
People have said that before.
Sorry. I got him.
That figure, the accessories.
Such a fun figure, yeah.
Like some of the NECA stuff is very like the NECA gargoyles are really good. The cat
on a sandwich winds up as a pocket like toy sometimes. And my wife was like, "Why do you have a cat on a sandwich?" And I'm just like, "It's Alf." And she's like, "All right, that makes sense now, but nobody else is gonna figure." That is a weird toy.
But that's that's mostly what I'm all in on, or that I do pick up. I'm waiting for Monster Force to come out.
Those look cool too.
I decided that I'm going to try and go all in on it. It's what's going to, how can I say, the transition of no longer doing Valaverse Action Force stuff is going to be supplemented by the Monster Force, I believe, if it ever comes out.
That's a great trade-off.
If it ever comes out. At this point, Hasbro may dump more G.I. Joes on us, and I have to say, sorry guys, this line is now gone. But
I need to get my I want as long as they do a version 2 Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow, I will be a happy guy. I know that he's not everybody's favorites, but
I love that. Oh, that's probably my favorite Storm Shadow.
Yeah, when my dad was like, he's like, well, this one's all together. I'm like, yeah, he's all together because I loved him.
Because I loved him. I love that.
It's like these were like I didn't even put these guys in the bathtub because I was like, you ain't getting messed up. So like my dad was like, he started re-looking at some of these toys and he was like, these are in really good condition. I guess you guys did take good care of them. But
I tried.
It was nice to see it. Yeah.
But mine were played with. There were friends of mine that we destroyed their toys because that's what they wanted to do. We didn't do that with my stuff. Yes, they kind of got destroyed just over time, but I gotta yell. So I gotta hit mute and yell really quick. So hold on.
Go ahead. kids, you know, sometimes you got to tell them what to do.
Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. I got my own. I'm stunned she's not video bombing me right now.
Oh no, Roman has been driving me nuts now. I'm like, I just let him out right before, so he wouldn't do this. But I mean, I could sit here on a stream. I could sit here and watch a stream, and talk to myself, and he doesn't act like this. But the moment he knows, like, I'm sitting here, like, oh hey, look, my person, my human, he must be talking to no one. I should go over there and bug the shit out of him. I hope you don't mind if I swore.
No, you're fine, man. My daughter keeps yelling at me that I have to swear less, so you're okay. I'm like, yeah, no.
But yeah, like I said, I am fascinated with this plastic. This is, you know,
I love what that Monster Force like line is doing. Like at first I was like, that is weird, but the more that I kept seeing them, I was like, okay, this is not bad. I like that they're doing like a whole lore behind it and everything. Like that's pretty cool. So Monster Force is definitely in your future. I guess I really only have like one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, and that's just like the future of your channel. Like, what do you have plans for other things? What do you want to do in the future, as far as like your toy tubing, or do you want to like? Is there anything that you're doing other than toy tubing also?
Wow, that is a loaded question. Well, I can tell you when I started reviewing figures on my channel just because I had all the figures that came out. I had the original G.I. Joe O-rings, and I just wanted to compare them, and I didn't see anyone doing it. I leave all that stuff up there. It is horrendous. It is awful. I didn't understand how, I could actually edit it. You'll see me walk into the frame, start talking, showing the figures. I might as well be a mile away for how I'm showing the figures.
Right.
So I never expected the channel to do what it's doing. It really is to continue on with G.I. Joe stuff. Now, I know for a fact G.I. Joe's not going to be around forever, and that's why I do look at other lines. And I really like to showcase smaller lines, but it's really what I enjoy. I don't do Turtles. I don't know anything about Turtles. I don't do Ghostbusters. That stuff does not interest me, and there are other wonderful channels. I'm not going to jump on something just because it's popular,
right?
So I can get the clicks. And I hope to continue to grow it that way, for one thing. But it is the live streams. If you've been involved in any of the Monday Night Toy Ramblings, again, it's me for 3+ hours just going on. And I've said before, my channel is nothing without the community that, and I don't want to say that I've grown, because it is many, many channels that have come together, in all honesty. Like, you'll see most of us in other channels. I'm not naive enough to be like, oh, I don't realize my channel has grown. I mean, I know I can see what's going on, but that chat, without that chat doing what it's doing.
And it's good to acknowledge that, it is. It's good to, like, I can look at the first videos that I put together and the videos that I just recently released, and it feels like I've been doing it for years compared to where I was when I started. So I get that. Yeah.
So, I do want to continue to grow the live stream. I'm not one of those people that says, I don't really care. I want to be one of the bigger toy tubers. I strive to be, but I don't want to do it by doing, like, I'm going to start beef with someone. No, I want to do it organically. I want people to come in and tune in and like hearing what they have to hear from me, and have fun in the community with that chat going back and forth. And then
I tune in.
Yeah, and then Thursday with a friend. My whole idea of that, I don't know if you ever tuned in and watched it.
Yep.
And I don't know how you feel. When I would be in chats, let's say Geek Dead Life, Toy Anxiety, these bigger ones, right? And you see all these people, there's 2, 3, 4, 500 people, and they're all chatting. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, what is their story? Like,
Yeah.
I want to know who they are. So as I started to grow, it was Articulated Chatter. It's Chad now. I think he does a really wonderful job interviewing people, and I really like this style. And I wanted to be able to lead the way he leads. And if you've ever watched his stuff, he's really good with leading people. Even if he knows the answer, he knows not everyone does. And again, I watch Jim Rome, the sportscasters. I don't know, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and I love the way they do it. And they always say the best interview is a conversation. So I started this Thursday with a friend, and that is to get to know people in my community, people that have supported me, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, on Facebook, or just people that maybe they're just watching, people that don't ever want to be on, and it's to find out who they are, not just about toys, but find out from their childbirth through now and what they're doing, and just to get to know them. So I want to continue to grow that. I do that every other week. I could probably do it every week, but I also don't want to have the repeat person. I don't want to just reach out and grab the toy designer, the toy owner. That they're not the ones that are here helping to grow, my brand and my channel. I want to help those people to grow their brand if possible. So I do that. And then the opposite Thursdays, my moderator, Matthew Matson, and I do Punks on Film, where we talk about an old film, usually an old film. I'd like to do more on that, but the time consuming with this channel makes it very difficult.
Yeah. No, you know what? I see, and that's why I still stuck with just a name like Hyperdellic, and I didn't go with like toys or anything like not that like a punk with toys. You can still work with a lot of different things as far as that goes. I just I know that like my thing was like I wanted to try and like start off like immediately, not necessarily setting myself to any specific kind of content, and like who knows in 10 years from now if I'm going to be doing this or something else or even at all. Like I get it. Like it's one of those things where like I want to do other things. I do. And I like I've tuned into you guys talking about, I think one of the ones that I was watching was when you guys were talking about They Live. Such a classic. It's so bad. Like it's not bad. That's the thing. Like it's not bad, but there is like it's so different from like nowadays when movies like the dialogue, the writing. It's even it's like, oh, it's a B movie from back then. And even the B movies from back then were wow, oof, even more so.
But like what you're saying about your name and not having toys in it. If you watch the early videos that I did, I went by Punk Rock Skate Dad. Yeah. That is my personal Instagram. I can't tell you how many people have come up to me. They got to know who I was from the skate park and skate shop that I was skating at all the time, because I kind of became part of their crew. I think a lot of people think I'm actually probably sponsored by them as one of the old guys. But people come like, hey, Punk Rock Skate Dad. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea who you are. But okay, hey, and I had this idea to be like, I'm going to do everything on my channel. But then the more it grew, the more I watched YouTubers that explain, how to grow a channel. Yeah. That's when it was like, all right, toys is what I'm really going to be doing here. And I wanted to have punk in it. And I've had numerous people ask, like, are you saying like you're a punk with toys, or are you like a punk rocker? I'm like, I'm a punk rocker. It is all play on words. My personal Instagram is a Punk Rock Skate Dad. It kind of makes me, when people ask me, I'm kind of like, do you not hear the intro song? Do you not see the different shirts that I wear at times? Like I have Bad Religion, Pennywise, strung out, sick of it all. Like I have all these punk rock shirts. I thought that was going to be kind of obvious. I know I don't wear them all the time.
By the way, Speaking of Bad Religion and Pennywise, two of my daughter's favorite punk rock bands.
Well, that is
I've raised her
awesome.
right.
That is awesome because those are two
of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit down and go down that road, but I can say this: when we first heard Pennywise back in '91 or '92, I just remember thinking like, "This is such a Bad Religion ripoff." And then when you start to hearing them, you realize they're not. But I was actually watching a video where they did a Bad Religion song, a cover, and they make a joke. They're like, "Everyone says we sound like Bad Religion anyway, so we're just gonna do a Bad Religion song." And I think back to going like, oh my god, this band sounds just like Bad Religion. And then as you get to hear them more, you're like, they actually sound nothing like them.
They have a distinct, but there are similarities. I'm not.
There's similarities. You're right.
But yeah, I love them.
But they are not like, yeah, they're not even close to sounding the same when you actually like break down the stuff they talk about, how they sing, how they play. It's like there's a completely different. But I thought the same thing because that first album, again, if you listen to the first Pennywise album, in all honesty, it's kind of like this could be one long song. All right, all the songs sound like if you're not a punk rocker, like you might listen to it going like they don't sound any different. You're like, well, it was their first album, and it's just all fast, raw. Power, but there's I would say, I hate to get off on a tangent or whatever, as much as I love No Control from Bad Religion and I love Suffer and Against the Grain and Generator, those 4 albums, like you could interchange the songs and it could be the same album. When you listen to them, you can tell the difference. But those 4 albums, it's like that could be one big long album because the music style is all the same. And then when you get into like the Gray Race and what was the one right before the Gray Race? Stranger Than Fiction, you hear a completely different style.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's
no, because I love those albums. I love those albums. They have some stinkers. I actually had a friend say, I made a comment about how this is a while back. I made some comment about how that band it's probably honestly it was probably who sings Ace of Spades?
Motorhead?
Motorhead. I'm sorry. You can take any Motorhead song and play the music and sing Ace of Spades and it goes with it. Like every single song sounds exactly. And he made a comment and he goes, yeah, well, every Bad Religion song sounds the same. I said, that's not true because they got some really shitty songs. Like I wish they all sounded the same. Then they would be that are good, yeah. They got 4 albums that they won't even admit that they did. Anyway, sorry to get off the tangent of punk rock.
I gotta. StreamYard is telling me that I'm getting close to my recording limit. No, it was a great conversation, man. I wish I could keep on going with it. But you know what? We gotta let people want more,
No, and listen, I would love to have you on Thursday with a friend sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I mean, we're definitely connected through Toy Network and all of that stuff. So you let me know. Right now I am pretty much free all the time.
Like
what do you got coming up?
What?
You got anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Okay, well, this won't air. So tomorrow, which will be in the past, I'll have Payne's Toy Samples on. So if you want to go back and watch that Thursday with a friend, you said this is airing on Sunday. So tomorrow, Monday Night Toy Ramblings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I ramble on for 3 hours. I do believe the topic is going to be about face sculpts and why we have such a problem and why people whine and cry about it so bad.
I want that
head. Why is this an uproar right now? Why are people so mad about this? And then, so for this Thursday, when after this airs, I will have A Walk on. I'm going to have Brick Something and Jason from A Walk on to talk about their Kickstarter.
So hopefully you guys all watch that.
What? Yes. Go back them, hit that 300,000, 400,000 mark that they're striving for. I think they're gonna hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about
I've
it.
been eyeballing that chameleon, no pun intended, but
Yeah.
that thing looks really neat. The fact that it has two eyeballs that articulate on its own that's insane.
There's a lot of nice Kickstarters, a lot of nice stuff. The biggest problem is with Kickstarters is giving money to someone and you have to wait for it when you already know that there are other things. For me, it's GI Joe that are coming out, and I have to have the funds for it. So I might just have to wait for it to come out on Hella Dope Toys and pick it up there.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely check it out on Hella Dope Toys. I got to check out their site a lot more often. I get those occasional link drops where they throw out, they're like, hey, we got these going, and it's like, ooh, maybe. All right.
And there's
All right,
a code to get 10% off. So,
and there you go. Well, this has been show and tell with Hyperdellic and a punk with toys. Thank you, Lawrence, for coming in. Thank you for being on, and thank you for sharing everything that you did with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a blast. I love talking about this stuff.
No problem, man. I love having a conversation with you, dude. You're fun to talk to.
Well, I appreciate that because I don't know if everyone feels the same way.
Well, kids, have a great day, have a great night, whatever it is you're watching this, and yeah, play with your toys, have fun. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day. Later, man.
Feel about my I can wave away.